So to graph our plane, you'll start by choosing an equation for a plane, and then find the x-intercept, the y-intercept, and the z-intercept, just like you watched in the video, by putting in the zeros in the appropriate places. Once you do that, you'll have 3 points that you can graph, and we know that 3 points determine a plane. So now I'm using sort of some trial and error to figure out how I can get my plane to hit those 3 intercepts. So using a piece of paper so I can kind of smush it into the corner there, figure out how big I need to cut it, doing a lot of guess and checking. And once I was happy with the fit, then I fit that to some cardboard because I wanted it sturdy enough that I could fit that into the corner for my graph. But then I started thinking, why use guess and check when I could use math? So I started using the Pythagorean theorem so I could figure out how long each side of my triangle should be. And drew a little diagram because I was planning to use the law of cosines. I know 3 sides should have been enough, but I wanted to know how big the angles on that triangle should be too. Once I found the measure of angle C, I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to use the law of sines to find the measure of angle A. And once I knew angle A, I could easily find angle B by subtracting from 180. It's time for me to try out that math by transferring those measures to my cardboard. Got to use a protractor. It was a good time. Isn't that way more satisfying than trial and error? Next, it's time for me to fit that chunk of plane into my model. So I decided to use a hot glue gun. Use whatever you have, but I just need to make that stick at those 3 intercepts. I start with Y, here I am going to the Z, and then finally to the X. I had to be patient, I had to wait for that glue to dry. You'll figure it out. Just make sure that we can still see each of the corners once you get it all glued in or taped in. Once you're happy with your positioning, it's time to label. Make sure that you put somewhere on your model the equation for your plane. And then I just need you to label the x-intercept, the y-intercept, and the z-intercept. Just one photo should do the trick to submit this time. Remember that this is the only way that I can grade your project, so make sure that I can clearly see those 3 intercepts and the equation for your plane, and everything is positioned just right. Have a good time.